Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And here tonight, we are going to be talking about habits, how to strategize, how to get ready for 2023, along with talking to a wonderful soul who's going to be helping us understand that. Also, I am excited to say this is episode 199. My name is Shri, and I am a video marketing producer. I have been going live since April 2020. And I am about to hit my 100th live in January. So before we get into all of that, let me go ahead. Yes, let's go party people. Let me go ahead and bring up my guest who I'm so excited to bring on. I met him on TikTok. I thought he was super cool. I loved his content. Let me bring up Ty Nichols. How's it going, Ty?
Hey, everything is beautiful. Everything is great. I woke up this morning on this side of the grass, so I'm always grateful.
Yes, that's a great attitude. I want to say hello to Gabe, Florence, Junette. Thank you for joining in. I know, Gabe, it's been a while since I saw you. Actually, that's a lie. We went live on TikTok giving helpful tips about how to leverage live streaming. But we're not here for that. We're here for Ty. So, Ty, tell us, what is a habit strategist?
Oh, well, Roger that. Well, again, I'm tired of habit strategists, up early, getting after it. And as a habit strategist, I'm a behavior design expert who I work with leaders and professionals to maximize their productivity, maximize their energy, maximize their time with my 5 step productivity powerhouse methodology. And I use within that my tiny habits method that I learned from BJ Fogg himself.
Now, let's get into this. You said a 5 step strategy.
Yeah, so a 5 step powerhouse productivity methodology. Yeah.
So can you kind of tell us what is that?
So when we look at teams and leaders being absolutely productive, you've got to have a process for it, right? So the first thing would be clarity. So I'd strive for them to gain clarity and gain vision on which direction that they are going. And this is the condensed version, obviously. The next thing would be organization. Not only are we organized in terms of our workflow, but do we have the right people in the right places? You know, they've said, well, if you're getting on the bus, do you have all the right people on the bus, and where are we going? Right. So we know where we're going. We have the vision. We've got the right people in the right places. We're organized. Next, we want to drive urgency. A lot of times we don't push urgency as leaders. So the next step is really how to put urgency at the forefront. The next step would be recognition slash accountability. Because now we have to see, are we on track? Who's doing well? Who needs support? And be able to give that feedback upfront and direct. So you want to recognize in public, criticize in private in order to keep your team on track, right? And then lastly, we want to reflect. Once we've reached our destination, what did we do well? What did we not do well? And what can we do to make the next trip better?
You said some really, really good. The 5 steps, the mythology, we're all like, whoa, these are things that we've not even thought about. And if you have questions, please drop them into the comments because Ty and I will make sure it gets answered. But before we get into this 5 step mythology that you have and that you are coaching others on, what was Ty doing before all of this? How did you step into this habit strategist role?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. So for 14 years, I worked for Target. I started out with Target. I know I see the people, Target in the house.
I worked at Target too. I was there for a few years. I was a leader on duty. I had hard lines, which was the health and beauty and housewares.
Yeah, yeah. So you said LOD. I got you. I got you. So that was one of my roles as well. So I actually started out with Target, and I used to unload trucks. That was my thing. That was where I had started out. I was unloading trucks at night, overnight, and I was going to school during the day. So over the course of those years, I was promoted maybe a dozen times. My last role was in Ellicott City, where I ran a $62 million store, had 275 team members, 12 team leaders, six different executives. And I was the campus recruiter for the University of Maryland. I was also the district trainer for new executives, the regional trainer for transferring executives. So I had a lot of roles and responsibilities there. And before I even got to that level, I had to figure out how I was going to do it all, right? How can I put all of these things in place? So I got mentors. I read about leadership and I started implementing systems so that I didn't have to think so much, right? I see you, Shannon, MD in the house. Oh, and Heather, I see you, Heather. I implemented these systems, right? So as a leader, to be an effective leader, I implemented systems, right? So that was my first foray into creating systems to make things more efficient. Later down the line, I was actually at my doctor's office, and I see my doctor from time to time, and we would always have this same conversation. And after our visit, he would mention my weight, as at that time I was 472 pounds.
Whoa.
Right. So my doctor would say, "Oh, well, Mr. Nichols, you need to lose weight." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I got you. I'll eat some more salad." Right. And then he was like, "All right, you say you feel good." I said, "I feel great, doc. My blood pressure is good. My cholesterol is good. Yeah, I'm all right." He said, "Well, how does your spleen feel?" I said, "My spleen, doc, I don't know what a spleen is, nor do I know what a spleen does." So he went on to explain the importance of the spleen, how it fights disease, yada, yada. Then he was like, "Well, your internal organs, like your spleen, are under extreme duress due to your weight. And you could have some significant problems if you don't change that." And that kind of hit me like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like I was kind of like taken aback. He kind of shook me to my core a little bit. And I started like talking to myself out loud, like, I need, I need to be more motivated. I need more willpower. He said, "You don't need any of that. What you need are better habits. When
Mm.
you can control your habits, you can change your life." And I was like, holy smokes. So from there, I went home that day. I bought multiple books on habit formation and behavior design by BJ Fogg, Charles Duhigg, James Clear, as well as others. I mean, there were multiple books. Not only that, but self discipline and so forth. So once I gained all of this knowledge about habit formation, behavior design, how it relates to the mind and the body, and so forth, I started implementing these things um, to change my habits, and I was able to lose over 200 pounds.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah. So then I took that and I said, I want to help somebody else. I don't want to just help, just myself. No, I want to help more people. I want to make an impact on the planet to help others to develop good habits, not only just from a health standpoint to lose weight, but to be more productive, to be better leaders, because habits are a system. That's the key. Because we're so focused on goals, we forget about the system. We don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. And the most important and most effective system is habit formation.
I'm over here like we rise to our systems.
Yes, sir.
that is a really eye awakening moment where you realize, yes, Andrea, great books, what a strategic way to change your habits rather than just reading diet books,
Oh, yeah.
looking at
And that's
those
the thing.
habits.
Yeah,
Like how many,
Andrea, listen, I was doing keto before keto was keto. I did Jenny, I did all of those. It didn't work for me. It wasn't until I started implementing habit formation that I was to change my life forever.
I would love to know for those in the Hey, what's up, Sean? She is a great so Chandrea, if anybody wants to know, Chandrea is all about helping you understand your habits and how it relates to food. I've been working with her. It's up and down, but I will say the struggle is with me. It is not to blame to anybody. It is with me. What's going on, Carl? So I wanted to go back to the books you read. You not only read the books, you implemented it. You also realize that this can be used with leadership. This can be used not just and in your personal life. And now you're seeing that there is a pattern. Our habits actually help us see the success that we want in life. Think about it. I would love to know in the comments, like, if in 2023, if there was something like if you wanted to lose weight or you wanted to read the books, did you accomplish that goal? Yes or no? Just type yes or no. I would love to know. I'm only asking this because if I was to look at my habits, we have a lot of work to do. And we have a great question from Andrea. What are the top 3 habits that you recommend for us to implement for the new year?
Absolutely. Great question, Andrea. So the first thing I would say is to stop the victimization of self. What does that mean? What that means is stop beating yourself up. We have a tendency, there's always this piece of our mind that always tells us we can't and tells us the negative and critical things about ourselves. What I want you to see folks do as you move forward into 2023 is to ignore that voice and come and combat it with the positive things that you're doing in your life. So that's the first thing. Stop beating yourself up. Number two, get some sleep. I know that sounds so simple, but I promise you, and what does that look like? That means 9 o'clock. We need to cut the TV off. We need to take the phone, put it in the other room, buy an actual alarm clock. Don't use your phone as the alarm because I know how you'll be sitting there, the phone up. There's a notification. Oh, let me see what's going on. Next thing you know, you're scrolling on Instagram. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. You laughing your head off on TikTok. Take the phone out of the room and actually get some proper rest. Get your at least 7 hours of sleep. People, all of this, oh, hustle hard, I sleep when I die, all of that kind of not, forget about it. When you're sleeping, your body is working on itself. When you're sleeping, your brain is actually working. Have you ever thought about a question when you went to sleep and then woke up with the answer? I know I most certainly have. I still do it to this day. So your mind is constantly working while you're asleep. So get some rest. And lastly, and I like these are habits that I call keystone habits. Keystone habits are one particular habit that are going to bleed into other areas of your life. So when you stop being so negative towards yourself, you could be more positive and you'll be less fearful of failure in other areas and things like that. When you get proper sleep, you'll be able to actually to wake up, be more alert, rest your body, right? The last thing I would say going into the new year, and a lot of people are thinking this and saying they're going to do it, but I'm talking about working out. But I'm not talking about, hey, Sheree, go to the gym 5 times a week. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is to start extremely small with a workout. You see, when people think of workout, they think of running on a treadmill, lifting weights, doing all of this. No, what I'm saying is take a 5 minute walk. Start that small. You say, Ty, what do you mean? If I do a 5 minute walk, what is that going to do? The key is not to attempt to lose weight with this 5 minute walk. The key is to start the process and build momentum by doing that 5 minute walk. Because what's going to end up happening is that 5 minute walk is going to become a 10 minute walk. And then you'll start walking faster and you'll start feeling better. Then you'll want to start doing, and the next thing you know, in a couple of weeks, that walk may become a jog. That jog may become a run, but you have to start extremely small. I'm gonna tell you one thing I did. Here's a great example. I said to myself, I'm gonna do 50 push-ups every morning. I did it the first day. I was like, yeah, I got it. Second day I did it. Third day, forget about it. It was done. I didn't do any more. It was over. So then I said, okay, implementing habit formation. I'm only gonna do 2 push-ups. So I got up, I brushed my teeth, I did 2 push-ups, I did a little celebration, right? But the thing was, I kept that consistency. Who can 2 push-ups? My grandma can do 2 push-ups, right? But it's not about just the 2 push-ups, because what happened was the two became five, the five became 10, the 10 then became 25, and I was able to eventually get up to doing 50 push-ups in a matter of minutes every single day. So start extremely small with exercising.
I everything from how you look at your habits, how to break it down, and how to implement it. Because Robert Barry's asking, is there one particular habit or a set of habits that most of us should implement? And I know you talked about putting your phone in the other room, going to sleep, getting that sleep, um, thinking about how do you start the movement. I want to hit 10K steps. And so sometimes it does not happen. But what has been happening is that I go for a walk. Even if it's 20 minutes, I'm going for that walk for today. I got my walk in and I feel good about it. So we have here Andrea saying, thank you, Ty. Love those tips, especially the sleep. And so true about the exercise. Once you start a little bit of exercise, it's much easier to continue. One tip that I would add, it's been life changing for me, is it's what would that be? It's to start meditating in the new year, and it's life changing for me. Whew, that's a big
That-
one.
that's
So
huge. That's huge.
let's go back to Robert's question about what
Robert.
should we consider implementing right now.
Well, the key thing that I want everyone to understand is that oftentimes we don't think about habits in the right way, and then we beat ourselves up if we don't eat right for a long period of time. Like you were saying, it's me, I'm the one, I'm not getting stuff done as far as the health piece. Then we beat ourselves up, we say it's our fault. When it comes to habits, you are not the problem. The system that you've come to understand is the problem. Imagine this: you order a desk from Amazon, right? You're like, oh snap, my desk just arrived. I ordered it at 1 o'clock. It got here at 3 o'clock. I don't know how it happened, but it's here. You open it up, and there are pieces missing, and the directions are missing steps. Do you blame yourself or do you blame the manufacturer?
I blame manufacturer.
We blame the manufacturer. So then why are we beating ourselves up for not being motivated and having more willpower and having the most discipline? Right? That's the issue. The main thing you've got to understand is how to design habits that will get you to where you want to go. Now, and really understanding that. Because see, people might say, hey, I want to lose weight. Well, that's a goal. Losing weight is a goal, but that's not the system. You don't need to lose weight, you need better eating habits, right? You want to lose weight, you need better exercising habits. Goals are okay for a matter of direction, but we can't focus on them so much, right? Because when we focus on the goal, again, I'll use the weight for example, just because you brought it up. If we focus on the weight, then we focus on the scale. We're working out for 2 weeks, we hop on the scale and we don't see much movement, then we're like, oh, I'm a failure, I'm going to cut it off, right? But if you just focus on that, continuing that exercise, you focus on getting that 10K every single day. You don't focus on anything else. You focus on that 10K every day. You're going to wake up in a couple of months and be like, oh, my pants don't fit anymore. They're falling off me. I can't even use this belt anymore. So what I would say, the habit that you should take into 2023 is to understand how to design habits so that you can implement whatever behavior you want. Because he, as a behavior design expert, that's what we do. I mean, we really break down behavior from a prompt, ability, and motivation aspect. Like I said, I work with BJ Fogg, who's done research with over 40,000 students and teachers and parents, and really gone through the research to truly understand how behavior works. So that's what I would say. But if you want to take it to Another keystone habit. Let's take another keystone habit, right? I'm going to loop it in with it being tiny. I would say reading. Reading is another keystone habit. Now you can say, "Oh, Ty, reading. Oh my God, I don't want to read." I remember I was working with a guy, and he wanted to read, but he just couldn't do it. I told him, I said, "Listen, don't try to read a chapter a day or read a book." I said, "Read one page a night, just one page, just one page." And this is an older guy. I think he was about 55. I was like, "Look, just read one page a night." He was like, "Man, I'll never finish it then." I said, "Don't worry about any of that. Don't worry about finishing the book. The goal, focus on doing one page a night." After about 2 weeks, he was reading a chapter a night. Another 2 weeks, he was on to the next book. Building that repetition and building that momentum to doing the behavior and building that habit is the key.
Small steps. James Clear talks about that 1% better every single day.
Mhm.
And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been chiming in the comments. We see you. We're reading it. I know some of you have questions, so I'm going to get into that. Hello, Dr. Alexandria. So, Robert has any recommendations to overcome being stuck in a rut after implementing a habit and then losing the momentum?
Oh, great question. Great question. Because it speaks to the myths about habits. Oh, my goodness. I ask people all the time when I'm doing a a keynote or I'm doing a workshop. I say, "Well, tell me, what do you believe about habits? What do you know?" And they say, "Oh, well, it takes 21 days to build a habit. Oh, you can't miss a day. If you miss a day, it's over with. Or you got to focus on your goals." Forget about all of that. And what you're talking about, Rob, you're talking about the missing a day aspect, and it reminds me of a story I think James talked about with I think it was Seinfeld, and about writing one joke a day or something like, and putting it all on a calendar. And what happens is if you miss a day, it's okay. You can get back on the horse. It doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean shut it all down. You get up and you go again. But then you think about, this is what I want you to think about, Rob. Whatever that behavior was, that new habit you were trying to, I use the word habit and behavior interchangeably because I think of them as the same thing. Um, Whatever new behavior you were trying to implement, I want you to think about the level of difficulty of that behavior. Think of my push-ups. I tried to do 50 push-ups. I couldn't do it. Forget about it. When I did 2 push-ups, I was able to stay consistent. So think about making that behavior smaller and easier for you to do. Something that'll take you less than 10 seconds, whatever that behavior. And if you want, you can share it and we can dig into it. But what I'm saying is make the behavior smaller and easier to do.
So, and so we got back another question from Robert. Said, what about 30 days?
No, there's no set. Okay, so first of all, I can't even. I read it somewhere, but it's really unclear where the whole 21 days came from, right? But there was a study done in 2011, and James Clear talks about this study about the 66 days, right? Um, but BJ and I both read this study, and it's a flawed study, right? Like, there are a lot of parameters that weren't really checked into. So there's no set day. The idea is for a behavior to go from a choice to automaticity,
Mm,
from choice to automaticity, from me choosing to go left and right to me automatically going right every single time without even thinking about it. Right? You don't think about tying your shoes, locking your door, or anything like that. You want your behaviors that are congruent with your goals and your dreams to be on autopilot.
that's right. It's like going live. I mean, how many have gone live at least for this show 199 times?
And
And
I've never gone live.
but it's become a muscle So it's just something that I do,
Hmm.
and it becomes easier. I actually prefer to do a live versus, or even just posting a video, because it's just easier than having to think of the caption and how it can move somebody, versus in a live I can just be who I am and just speak. But it wasn't always like this. So for anybody who's thinking, well, I want to add live streaming to my strategy or video, remember, it's just doing one thing daily. And I do have a special offer in my free Facebook community, Get Confident on Camera, where I am helping you be able to set the precedent, set the tone for January. So if you want to learn more about it, definitely join the free Facebook community. But we've got a question here from Vanessa ZG. How do you kick off a bad habit? Unless you've already, no, we haven't talked about how do you kick off a bad habit?
Ooh, now we cooking. We cooking, Vanessa. Now, this is the other thing too. When it comes to, and this gets into a little bit behavior design, for any behavior that you do, three things must come together at once: your motivation to do the behavior, your ability to do the behavior, and then a prompt, right? So a prompt is like a cue that says, do this behavior now. You're at a red light, it turns green. That's a cue for you to go, right? Your motivation, like I said, is your motivation to do the behavior, and your ability is your level of ability to do that behavior. Oftentimes, when we want to change our behavior or break a bad habit, we don't really like to look at it that way, because we look at it as untangling a behavior. Untangling a behavior. Like, you ever had the old school headphones before Bluetooth, and you had to, that's what it's like to break a bad habit, is really like untangling. But the first thing that you can do, the first thing that I would do, is attack the ability. If you're watching too much TV, or whatever it is, whatever behavior you want to change to affect the ability, you want to use environmental design. All right. So we're talking about environmental design. What I mean is, um, if you're watching too much TV, take the TV out of your bedroom. Right.
Mm.
If you're eating too many snacks, you find yourself snacking on chips and so forth, get all of that food that's not good for you out of the house, because that limits your ability to that type of food. Right. So think about what is happening around your particular behavior that you don't want to be a behavior anymore. You don't want it to happen anymore. What are the conditions that allow that behavior to take place? Regardless of whatever behavior it is, what are the conditions that allow that to take place? And start limiting the ability to do those behaviors. I remember I tried this out for myself. I found myself, what was this show? It was not Us, something Us. It was on NBC. It's like The Family or what have you. All of Us or something. I don't know. Anyway, I was watching too much of it. Right, I was watching too much TV. So what I did was, I said, I want to stop watching so much TV. But whenever I kept turning it on, so I unplugged the TV when I turned it off, and then I threw my remote under under the bed. Right.
About Us is what it was called. Thank
Oh,
you, Vanessa.
About Us. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, talk about a tearjerker, that show, boy. But anyway,
Or
I
This
would
Is
take my
Us.
remote, I throw my remote under the bed, and I unplug my TV.
Oh,
No,
it's This
this is
Is
us.
Us.
This is us.
Sorry.
There you go,
This
Gabe.
Is
There you
Us.
go, Gabe. This is us.
Robert.
So, so now if I want to watch TV, I gotta crawl under my bed. I gotta fiddle with the plugs behind it. My motivation drops. I'll find something else to do. I'm probably supposed to be doing something productive anyway. So environmental design would be the first step to changing a bad habit.
I really, really love that. And I say that because it really gets you to think too. For example, this is where I go live and work. And my daughter's gotten used to that. When she's home, I'm going to be in here going live, because I'm trying to separate. This is what I do work. My bedroom is just for sleeping. So I've created that environment. Even when I'm here sitting, I don't get tired. Now, when I go to my room and I sit on my bed, guess what happens? I'm
Fall
ready to
asleep.
go to sleep. which happened because the power went out earlier today, and I was praying that the power would come back. So we got the power. But these are really, really, really good things to help us think about what we need to do and how to set up 2023. Just what can we change? What are the environmental designs that we can change so we can start seeing some differences? If it's more movement, take a walk. If it's more, hey, I want to start posting more on social media, just start with one. Then it leads to two, and then it leads to three. And so we're seeing all of the don't focus on the goals, focus on the habits. We had Vanessa who said, my husband took away the TV. So that way we are not watching TV all the time. Never knew what we what you said is what he did. So that's true because even myself now, I'm trying not to watch Law and Order SVU before I go to sleep. I'm listening to Calm or something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me speak to Florence's piece. So yes, it is the system. So if you're trying to write a book, writing the book is the goal, right? But the key is to be a writer so that you can finish a book. But your everyday writing practice is what you should focus on. If I'm going to write whatever 2 pages a day or write for 20 minutes a day, that's what you focus on. So when you come in every day, it's not, oh, I gotta write that book. It's boom. Did I write my 20 minutes? Did I write my 2 pages? Every single day, day in and day out. And again, to Rob's point, even if you miss a day, okay, don't beat yourself up. It happens, right? Just jump back on the horse and get back to it. So focus on the system. That's absolutely what I'm saying. A goal is good, just in it that it provides direction. It allows you to say no to things, right? So, for example, again, I keep coming back to it. So, when you're talking about losing weight, right? If you want to lose weight and someone offers you a box of donuts, you no, I'm focused on a goal. But your system every day is eating your salads or eating, just healthy things that are nutrient dense, drinking your water, not eating donuts, right? It allows you to say no to things.
So we got our last question
Last.
before we move to Instagram, and that is, how do you develop a system that works for you?
All right, so that's key. Now that's a larger process, but I'm going to streamline it a little bit. So the first thing is to understand your aspiration. Where do you want to go, or your goal? Again, I don't like goals, but we're going to say that for the semantics sake. So let's say you've got a goal. All right. Then I need you to focus on what are the behaviors that are going to get me towards my goal. What are the behaviors that are going to get me towards my goal? Right. Once you identify the behaviors that you want or the habits that you want, now it's time to use the tiny habits method. I'm going to break this down a little bit. So, in the tiny habits method, the focus is to identify a current existing routine, like brushing your teeth. I hope everybody brushes their teeth every day. So, brushing your teeth or getting your cup of coffee every morning or walking your dog, whatever the case is, identify a spot in your already established routine and attach your new behavior to that. So, for example, after I brush my teeth, I'm going to do 2 push ups, right? After I brush my teeth, immediately I'm going to do 2 push ups. Then, this third piece, this is critical. After you do the behavior, I like crust too. After you do the behavior, you have to celebrate. What does celebrate look like? Like I used to look in the mirror and be like, yeah, you got this. Some people
I
do
love it.
some people do a little clap. I remember when I was doing, I used to go down and I'll be, doing some boxing. I would put my hands up in the air like I was, Muhammad Ali or something like this. You do a little celebration. And what this does is it brings an emotion, a positive emotion within you that tells you to do that behavior again. Now, the behavior has to be so small that you can't say no. so small that it only takes a matter of seconds to do. So that's how you're going to do it. Find what we call an anchor, an existing behavior. Identify the little behavior you're going to attach to it. So you're going to do your behavior, you're going to do your new habit, and then you're going to celebrate. Okay? This will be something that you'll do day in and day out, and eventually the habit will grow. That is a system of as one system you can use to build a new habit. Now, if you want to dig deeper, where we can really identify some key points and critical measures, that's another longer conversation.
Well, then where do they go to book that call with you?
Oh, absolutely. You can go to my website, thehabitstrategist.com, and you can book a 30-minute discovery call, and we can kind of go over some stuff and see what you need and where you need to go. I've literally coached people all over the world. Now this is the one thing about, listen, pandemic was terrible, but it has opened up a world of video chat and streaming, that we have not known the likes of before. It was always there, but this has really opened it up. I've coached people in Germany, New Zealand, China, Australia. I mean, it's been great so far.
So if you are not connected with Ty, make sure that you do send and definitely add that you saw him on this live so he knows. Take advantage, book that 30-minute strategy call, because if you want to have a different outcome to what you're looking for, that you can do that by taking a chance. And we have a few comments that I'm going to read out, which is from Venice, who says, love this advice, time. My book project goal was to write a page for 365 days, had to put in some serious boundaries, strategies, and systems in place to get it done. I could not miss too many days because I would get too far behind. So I did say no to a lot of things until my goal was one and done. It was not easy. I did small celebrations to celebrate my small wins. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. We have Cass, who says a great segment. And Cass is also on TikTok. So, Cass, make sure you connect with Ty and tell him, hey, you saw him here. And then Andrea is sharing, Ty, I just moved my phone charger to the other side of my bed to get my ass out of the bed as soon as the alarm goes off. And did you? And so, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this conversation and come on over with us to Instagram. I want to say thank you to everybody who joined in on the live and who are catching the replay. And if you want to get on camera, add video to your strategy for next year, you can book a call, just message me video, or join my free Facebook community where I do drop exclusive content that is not anywhere else. You can ask a few people that are in the comments, like Florence and Robert and Shannon. I have a challenge. There's an exclusive offer right now running in there. So thank you again. My next live, which is going to be January 5th, and it's going to be my 200th live for this show. I want to make sure you join in on that, and you'll see the advertising, the marketing for all of that. So I just want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you for a wonderful 2022. Thank you for being here for the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. You mean so much to me, and I appreciate every one of you and the friendships I've made along the way. Ty, I met you on TikTok, but here we are on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and we're now going to move to Instagram. So until the next live, which is going to be my 200th one next year,
Make sure
have a
y'all tune in.
wonderful evening, day, and thank you, Ty. Let's come on over to Instagram.
All right, Roger that.
All right, bye.